biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. It's your boy Kevin Thornton, the Wellness Architect, and you have tuned into the world famous The Wellness Architect Show. Today is Monday, April 2nd, 2018. Happy Easter to all you guys who celebrate Easter yesterday. Happy, what was that? April Fool's Day, those who play any kind of practical jokes. Today's going to be an amazing show. We didn't do it last month because I got kind of busy with all these different type of guests want to come in, but once a month I do the men's roundtable discussion, and I have the fellas from Instinct Radio, or the family members of Instinct Radio come in, and we have a conversation. The whole purpose of it is just to showcase black men having great thoughts and intellectual conversation about all different aspects of what's going on in society and life. With that being said, if you have any questions or comments, please call in at 478-569-6474. Once again, 478-569-6474. We started a little bit late because the traffic here in Atlanta is crazy. So we got one of the three here. The other two are on their way. They're stuck in traffic. So without being said, it's going to still be a great show. Music Monk ATL, what's going on, big time?
Hey, man, how's it going?
I can't complain. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Pollen is not as bad this year as I thought it was.
It's killing me right now.
But the spectrum, it shifts. It's like an equalizer on your stereo. So like
exactly.
when your treble is down, the bass is up, and the bass is that traffic.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Most definitely.
So, how can everybody reach you, first of all?
At Music Monk ATL on IG, also Music and Motorcycles ATL on IG, powered by Music Monk ATL, obviously, and also coming soon, Music in the Truck with Music Monk.
All right.
Just got done wrapping up. The first episode is multiple parts.
Okay.
Installment. The topic of the show is it's a little bit. I'm not gonna say it's vulgar, but it's you know what I'm saying, the language, you know what I'm saying. But definitely follow my IG. It's a great show. We're gonna talk about we start off with Neo Soul. So this one is a 5-part series on breaking down the real nuances, the Neo Soul, crowning who is the originator.
Okay.
And the
so who they say is the originator, like D'Angelo and all them?
So basically, Kedar Massenberg was the one who coined the term Neo Soul.
Right.
But in an actual physical, like creating the genre, you know what I'm saying, through their own work, we have deemed it to be Mr. Raphael Saadiq.
And I will agree.
It's Mr. Raphael Saadiq. Mr. Raphael Saadiq is responsible for everything that you hear, from Baduism to Mama's Gun, Voodoo. As a matter of fact, Instant Vintage was really kind of like an interlude after Voodoo. But Tony's last album, which came out, I think it was November 19th, 1996, called House of Music.
Yep.
That was their best album to me.
Absolutely.
And critics agree that was their best album. And then he went on to form this production conglomerate known as the UMA. And it's him, Q-Tip, D'Angelo, the late great Jay Dilla, and Questlove being the chess master.
Okay.
So them collectively created the Voodoo album, which they recorded at Electric Ladyland Studios. And like I said, just charting everything that we knew about the genre. We, me and my colleague, we both unanimously agreed that Raphael Saadiq is most certainly the godfather of Neo Soul in America.
Okay.
Now, overseas, it's this cat named Omar.
Okay.
So check out Omar Laifouk.
Okay.
He goes by Laifouk now, but between him and Sade in Europe,
they are it.
Yeah, they would be the European originators in the early '80s. But in terms of contemporary, what we call Neo Soul today, I most certainly have to give it to Mr. Raphael Saadiq.
Gotcha.
But Voodoo is the greatest Neo Soul album of all time, hands down.
I'm not going to even lie with you. That was my album, so
that
was my album.
but yeah.
So okay, so that's big things coming up with you.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm extremely proud that we all got great things, bubbling up under the surface. I'm actually getting ready to do a soul summit, the week of June 15th and 16th. So the Soul Summit is from the publishing company who produced 20 Beautiful Men. So they did 20 Beautiful Men last year, and they come out with a part volume 2 of 20 Beautiful Women. They had part volume 1 year 2016. So all the authors are going to come in for a 2-part Soul Summit, network, do some speaking, all that kind of stuff. So I'm working on getting ready for that. And actually, the publisher just reached out to me to see if I could get some of the authors come in and do the show around that time. So that's something that we are working on as well. And with that being said, I'm excited because in 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
April 16th, I'm
Big show,
having
man.
a
Big
big
things.
show.
Proud of you, man. Happy for you.
Thank you. I got Stick, those who are some hip hop heads.
It's
Stick
bigger than hip.
from the great
hip,
rap group
hop.
Dead Prez will be on the show. He's really into holistic health. He has a run club. He does, he's a vegan. And he, meditation and yoga, all that time stuff. So we're gonna talk about that and how hip hop can influence the health of the masses, and how people like him and the guys from the Locks, how they changing the culture of creating healthy living, because they all vegans now, got their juice bars and all that kind of stuff. So you've seen a shift in the atmosphere of how rappers are using their platform to promote healthy wellness, all that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited about that. So mark your calendars, tell your friends, it's gonna be lit. So with that being said,
Gonna be lit.
we got two. I had some couple questions that I want to ask, and we're gonna last one I want to save for. I think you went to HBCU school too, didn't you?
Actually, I did not.
Okay.
I went to just a regular.
Okay, but no, I did too. But I did get accepted to
Shouts
one.
out to West Georgia, man.
I did get accepted to at HCBU. I was gonna go to Hampton, but I ended up going to EMU instead. But since Lyris is on his way, I'll save the other question for that he could participate with that. But so one of the first questions we want to talk about, before we talk about that question, I wanted to throw to the Music Monk
Yes, sir.
the big news that's been spreading all over the internet about Fabulous and the video about him beating Miss Emily. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, as a journalist, I guess it's kind of my duty to kind of investigate things a little bit. But sometimes things come out so fast. Me as a person, sometimes I think when you absorb information too fast, you create an opinion on something that's not really your place in the first instinct.
Right.
I mean, in the first instance. But if it is true, first of all, we've known Fab. We view Fab in the music community, in hip hop, in black culture. We view Fab as like not a fountain of youth, but a fountain of youthful relativity. Meaning he's been out over 20 years, but there's something about him that's enigmatic that draws the youth, the millennials, to him. He's always like cutting edge, even though he doesn't necessarily do like the commercial stuff like that. So he's highly, highly, highly respected in the industry. So to see him and to know his relationship, I know that Emily was on Love and Hip Hop at one point in time, so we know what her personality is like. And I'm staging this to say that they've kind of let us into their lives, so kind of what's going on. So when you see something and you hear that he allegedly hit her and knocked her front teeth out, to see him, what we know about them, it's unfortunate, and also it's not atypical anymore. You know what I mean? People are getting into relationships and you're finding that relationships have a shelf life. I think that's what we're discovering in this generation, unfortunately, is that, you know, no matter how much you love someone and this, that, and the third, you know, it's really, really hard to keep those tables balanced and unaffected by the constant bombardment of attempting to not take something personal in a personal relationship. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what would cause the brother, but I did see there is some footage out there of him going off and him saying, you know, threatening their lives and stuff like that. You know, for you to be as impactful as you are as an artist, we're all impactful because I always taught that life's an audition.
Exactly.
So you never know who's watching you.
Exactly.
And you know, you never know. There may have been a young man who was patterned, you know, who had patterned his entire mantra, moxie behind Fabulous, and for that to happen, you know, it's definitely an unfortunate letdown. But we're all human, man. We're all fallible. I hope that it's not true. It seems from the evidence, from the video evidence, it seems that, you know, as though this is probably something that's going to continue to escalate. I don't know if it's going to, you know, legally, but, you know, when you hit a woman, and I'm not trying to be funny, y'all, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, because this is just the way that our culture is set up, American culture. When you hit an attractive woman and you a black man, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you have that nuance on one side, then you have the fact that she is, you know, like they did a study, they had and what was deemed to be an attractive woman breakdown, and a woman who was quote unquote average.
Okay.
The attractive woman was on the side of the road for like 3 minutes before somebody stopped.
Right.
That what deemed to be, you know, what society deemed to be an average woman was out there substantially longer. Right. So this is not me being anyway, because we all who we are, but the optics are terrible. You know what I mean? Are terrible. So that's not the way to do it. I don't condone hitting anyone. We just live in a country right now where, I mean, there's literally a gun for every person in the country. You know what I mean? Right. So the last thing that you want to do, for me as a man, I'm thinking about their kid. Because what do you do to that relationship? How do you come back from, you know, doing that type of damage? Like, you know, knocking someone's 2 front teeth out is along the lines of like spitting on them. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna kill them, but it's like so disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And you have to really, and it's an intimate sort of assault. You have to really be angry at someone to know that you're about to do this to the person that held your seed for 9 months, carried it through, didn't do no drugs, didn't drink, brought a healthy baby into the world. And whatever happens between those relationships, at least for the sake of your kid, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to leave that sort of impact on your kid growing up. Right.
Like for me, you know, like I'm with you. I read, you know, that's their personal situation. I don't really know exactly what all went on, but it's been like the topic of conversation. Like you said, one of the things that's gonna be crazy to see is, you know, like you said, she was on Love and Hip Hop, so you know, they made their life a little bit public, and so when you do that, people feel the right to have an opinion, a strong opinion. So then, therefore, let's say as things blow over, let's say it's true that he did hit her and knock her 2 front teeth out, and she chooses to take him back. You know, the internet's going to be ablaze.
It's going to be ablaze with people responding that have done the same exact thing. So this is why you have to create in your life. You have to be able to separate, you know, the real from the not real, right? Exactly. And social media, you have to like divest yourself from social media. I know everybody doing their thing on social media. I get it. But it's not the end of the world. Look, I deleted the face. I didn't delete my account. It's not like that. But I just out of sight, out of mind. So I deleted the app off my phone, right? And I had done it like a couple of weeks ago. You get used to it. And then when you go back, you know what you find out? What? then nothing's changed.
Nothing has
and
changed.
Nobody missed you. You know what I'm saying? It's not that serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the stake that we put into social media and just how we view and portray people and how we respond on social media, like sometimes Black Twitter is on point. And sometimes they just super petty. And when I mean they, it's not a particular they. It's just whoever responds that's Black. I guess you, and you know, if you respond on a particular topic. But we just we're so quick to use social media as a way to like make ourselves greater than who we are. So I'm not going to respond at all. If someone asks me, if they say, "Hey, Monk," like you did, I'll respond, but I'm not going to Twitter to respond about this. I'm not going to Facebook. I'm not going to Instagram. I will follow those. I will follow the news outlets that choose to report on it.
Right.
But I don't have a comment either way. I don't have a comment when it comes to people that I do know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So with that being said, we're gonna segue to one of the main topics of conversation for today. You know, I have a lot of females that I'm cool with, or exes that I may have dated, or people I work with, or whatever. And so the question has come up. They feel chivalry is dead, and I said, is chivalry really dead, or is it no longer a requirement based on you guys? And so that's the topic of the conversation.
We're about to crank it up.
Yes, sir. So is it dead, Monk, or is it no longer a requirement by the ladies?
Let me go to what I wrote. So I've said this. I said this for a long time, and once again, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. You know what I mean? I will make mistakes, but I'm definitely a genuine person, and I see the details. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of those people that the small things matter to me.
Right.
Okay. It's not always about what you can do for me. It's what we can, kind of create. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
It's idiosyncratic to our chemistry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, chivalry is not dead.
Mm-hmm.
However,
okay,
my brother, it is indeed on life support.
Okay, and why you say that?
Because we all some liars, and that's all I wrote.
Okay, can you elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, we is all some liars.
Wow.
Okay, so chivalry is not dead. But when I say that it's on life support, everything is relative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and unfortunately, in order for chivalry to work, first of all, it's an old word.
Mm-hmm.
There was something totally different. It wasn't Twitter and Instagram and Facebook when chivalry was cultivated culturally. So we have to take these type of things into account.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, it's definitely on life support. Primarily because, like I said, we go into situations and we just be lying, man. I mean, I can't really say it. I can't really say it any plainer. And I at first, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be honest, because I like to be honest about things. At first, I wrote that women be lying. That's what I wrote.
Right.
But I knew that there might possibly be a young lady out there. And she said, "I like that Monk guy," and then I say something ignorant and put my foot in my mouth, and she be like, "Well, I did like that."
Right.
But no. I mean, from a balanced perspective, I only deal with women, so I speaking from that perspective. But I'm human enough to understand that we're all fallible. You know what I mean? And we be lying, especially in Atlanta, man. It's hard, man. It's just hard. You know what I mean? Because you don't know. Because you don't. You're. It's a delicate. You have to be. Timing has to be perfect for chivalry. Timing has to be perfect in order for chivalry to be effective.
Why say that?
Well, because I can call myself being chivalrous to a young lady who, as she's not at that place and time in her life, to where she's even responsive to what chivalry or courting is.
Mm-hmm.
She might think that, you just getting on my nerves, or why you thirsty?
Mm-hmm.
See, and this is why we gotta have a conversation, because chivalry can be and is oftentimes misconstrued.
It's being thirsty.
Don't bite my head off with being thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've learned to do is I learned to compliment people on such a regular basis. And you know how I do it? So so shouts out to E Loco 420, man. That's my boy. He went down. So it's like one of my closest friends. He went down the other day. Snapped his leg up really bad on the bike, right? So he's in Grady. So I went to go visit him today, man. He's in a somber mood. So I went to go see my boy. And just, we were just chopping up about some business. And on the way leaving, Grady, the elevators in Grady are not working. One side isn't working. So, I call myself getting my little workout on. I get up in the mornings and get my run on. So I said, you know what? I'm about to hit them stairs to the 6th floor. It's 2 flights of stairs for every floor. And that's 6. So I did 12 flights. 12 flights of stairs. So I finally made it up to the top. And I went in there, to go talk to my boy. And there was a young lady who was coming out. She was coming down the stairs. And, she was attractive, But I didn't, her hair was like, it was something about it. It was just really, really nice. The presentation and her energy was nice. So I just said, hey, I held the door open. I said, hey, your hair's pretty. And, as she said, thank you, I said, no problem. And I was halfway down the stairs. We have to kind of shift, But the problem is that, people use the compliments, the chivalrous compliments, the things that go in the chivalry lunchable.
Okay.
Saying things like, yo, you're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It's like people wear stuff out. You know what I mean? So you don't know if somebody's gaming you or if they're actually being genuine.
Right.
So I don't want anything from you. I just give you the compliment just to give you the compliment. You know what I mean? I'm off on my business. You know what I'm saying? If it struck you in a particular way, by all means, feel free to say something. But that's not my entryway into your pockets, ruining your credit, getting in your refrigerator, getting in your drawer. But so many people use words to camouflage usury. Okay. So chivalry isn't dead. It's called something. We're calling it something that is not. What we're seeing that's not chivalry. Oh no. And what we were doing back in the day, what our parents were doing, courting and counting and all that type of stuff, we have to shift into modern contemporary times and stop dating online.
Yeah. So let me say,
stop dating online. Everybody's too bougie with the online dating. That's why chivalry dead.
So, I'm a little bit older than you. So, tad bit. Let Lyris tell you. So, my experience is, the women that I attract. I think the reason why you could say it is on life support is because it's no longer being taught. I thought a lot of women that I have met really don't know how to be treated in that type of way. And I'm just being honest. I was out with a young lady and we went to 6 Feet Under. And
it's a nice chill spot.
Nice chill spot. And you have to park on the street and all this kind of stuff.
Which one did y'all go to?
On Grant Park.
Oh man, so you in the
yeah. So you have to park on the street. So we parked on one of the streets and we walking down the sidewalk. And I always walked on the outside. She never understood why I did that. I opened up the car door, walked around, got in the car, stuff like that. So she finally was like, "Why do you do all this type of stuff?" And I said, "Because this is how I was taught. This is how I'm supposed to treat the woman."
We gonna have to take this to be in the conversation so I can say what I really want to say. What I really want to say is not all that clean.
So so I saw another young lady, and I had already heard that she had some kind of interest in me or whatever, and I saw her out with a mutual friend, and we was at this party. And we just had a conversation, and I was like, if I was dating you, and I said, can I come over to see you? And you said, yeah. I said, I could never come over your house empty-handed. She said, why? I said, because at some point in time, I come over your house, I'm going to eat up or drink up something in your household, so I need to contribute to your household. This is how I was raised. And so she was like, well, you don't have to do it every time. I said, see, that's the problem. You have already lowered the criteria. Yes, I do, because I'm going to eat up or drink up something in your household, so that need to contribute to your household. And she said, I never heard of that.
Okay, so I agree with you to a certain extent. If you invite me over, and you say, okay, hey, come over for dinner or something like that, I might bring a bottle of wine, you know. But my mom always taught me, don't start up what you can't keep up. And what happens is that for people like us, like, we're generous giving people. So we don't mind doing for folk. And we know that more than likely it's not going to come back in the way that it was given.
Right.
And we understand that. You know what I mean? But you have to be careful because you set yourself up for example, if you, let's just say you got person A like person B. We ain't even gonna use no gender. Okay?
Right.
We about to make this as neutral as possible.
Okay.
Person A and person B.
Okay.
Person B ain't never had a car before. Person A gets a car and says, hey, I want to pick you up and take you out. Now, this is not gender specific. Person B gets in the car and says, dang, you can't get the one with the leather? And that's the essence of everything that we deal with. I know that was like so abstract, but my point is that you ain't never had no car. So why you tripping? I got the car. Like, I'm supposed to have leather in it for you. You know what I'm saying? So number one, don't start up what you can't keep up, and don't allow yourself to be used and manipulated, because people will get accustomed to not giving back.
Okay.
Give to the person that checks for you the most.
First of all, please be understanding that those who deal with me, you know, for a longer period of time, I'm gonna do what I do, but 9 times out of 10, they're gonna do the same for me. Because
you gotta funnel those type of people in your life.
Yeah.
We don't funnel those people in our lives. What happened is, especially in a place like Atlanta, it's about the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you meet somebody, you know, and say you at a hookah spot or something, and you see a young lady or you see a gentleman, you know what I mean, and you want to talk to them, there's like, you know, like this battlefield of pretentious barbed wire and fakeness and stuff that you have to go through just to even say hello. Like, hello is hard now.
It is.
You know what I mean? That's why I just get a compliment and just walk away, because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's Atlanta. I ain't got no jewelry on. You know what I'm saying? I got on some old Toms I've been wearing for a couple of years. You know what I mean? I got on the free T-shirt. I'm not really, you know what I'm saying? I'm just me. Like, right. I'm not really trying to impress you. I rather feel your energy from your presence, not just because I'm trying to mac you down. Like, I feel like this. When you got to talk somebody into something, it's not really worth having. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't sell cars anymore. Because I felt like every day, like, I was having to talk these people out of just everything. You know what I mean? And that's cool, but I don't really want it if I got to trick you out of it. And that's, you know, and I think that is what erodes the process of just getting to know people. So I made a declaration to myself, man. Proclamation, promulgation, declaration, whatever. I ain't doing the online thing. Like, I don't want to be on Tinder, POL, Black People Meet. I don't want to do it, because the way it's set up, if for us to be chivalrous, it's $20,000 a year to be chivalrous in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that. You know what I'm saying? For people that, for 9 times out of 10, those people, even if you're trying to date on a basic level, going out for 4 shots and some fries is $50. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to do that 20 times a month to try to find one person that I might get along with for a year or two. Or, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to put an arbitrary number on it, but it's just the effort and what people want versus the output. Like, things, the math, it just don't line up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of people coming from households where their family's been together for a long time, and, you know, you have to deal with the expectations of what they saw growing up, not understanding that if you don't have that real conversation with your mom or your dad, you're gonna think that it was all lilies and roses,
no.
and you ain't gonna know that for 10 years they hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna know that. But see, people, you know, like they create this fantasy.
Oh no.
They create a fantasy about what they think love and life and relationships should be like, and when soon as you don't line up to that, you're expendable.
Right. Well, you know, my parents have been married. It'll be 48 years in July. You know, my brother and I are very close to both, so we have legit conversations with both, and so I very much understand. You know, it's you know, you have your peaks and valleys like in anything, and sometimes the relationship is perfect, and then sometimes you have your battles. Then you know you work it out. But I said the thing was, you know, what I learned from them is, you know, they said she was my friend, and she said if you know, and he said I would never do anything to my friend that I don't want nobody do to me. And so he said that's how they tend to last as long as they did. Plus the fact they had a clear understanding of how they was going to do things, because not only is all about the love, it's also about the business, and they looked at themselves as a business as well. And so they made sure that it's all in agreement with that. And so with that being said, I kind of got that understanding with that. And I saw how he handled her. So then that's what we learned. And so a lot of times the young ladies, they didn't understand it, but I continue to be me. That's just who, and so all I could do is always continue to be me. And if I continue doing this, like you said, if I'm consistent with who I am and what I do, then they understand that I'm not trying to flex, or I'm not trying to put on a perpetration of the fraud of who I really am. This gonna be like, okay, this is how he really gets down. And so this young lady I dated for like 5 years, you know, she got used to it. She understood, okay, you know, this is who he is. So I remember one day her grandmother came in town, and she called me and said, "You gonna come over? My grandmother cooking for you." I said, "Okay, cool." She said, "Can you bring some Grey Goose?" I said, "Yeah, I can bring some Grey Goose." And so her grandmother was like yelling, "Why you gonna ask that man to bring you some vodka?" She said, calm down, calm down. He was gonna bring something anyway. So I just told him what I want him to bring. And so her grandma was like, "Do y'all find that? I didn't think that was that happy anymore." And she was like, "Well," she said, "I looked up on that." And so, but we ended up breaking up. But at the end of the day, you know, it was like, but I was consistent.
Grey Goose added up, didn't it?
You know what? You know what? But sometimes, you know, it was always it wasn't. But sometimes, you know what? Sometimes it wasn't always Grey Goose. You know,
Yeah, you know, I'm teasing.
right? But you know, but like me, it was easy because like I'm simple, and so sometimes, you know, I just don't want to go out, and so it was. And she was cool with that. So like, she's big into sports like I was. So I might call and say, "Yeah, yo, I'm gonna go pick up a pizza and some brews and come over," and that's something I would probably spend on myself anyway. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just like that, and it was those simple things that I think she ended up liking, and I was consistent with it. So it made it harder for the next guy that she dated after that. But
pause.
Yes, sir.
We ain't talking about the next guy, because I had a very interesting situation. I had an interesting situation. Relationships is hard, man. Like I said, I ain't no more social media, no more.
Right.
Sometimes you just gotta just purge yourself emotionally. Sometimes.
Exactly.
So why y'all break up? I'm gonna hit you right between the eyes. Why y'all break up, man? Well, because I'm listening to you and you're trying to be all cool and wellness architect about it.
No,
but you broke up for a reason.
Oh yeah, it was a big reason.
And who?
It was on her.
She jacked it up.
Yeah,
you know why she jacked it up? Because she knew. See, me and you got a lot in common, and I pick up on this not through conversation, but just through frequency. How do you have repeat offenders in your life?
No.
Because you cut them off.
Absolutely.
Did you have to learn how to cut them off?
A long time ago, I did. You know, back in the day, I had to learn to like people, to have people like me for who I am, and that's it.
And not what I can do.
Not what I could do for them.
And
And I think both of us are very nurturing people by right. So sometimes we create one-sided relationships, and so we being our true authentic self, but we not having that expectation.
We're not holding folk accountable.
Exactly.
Setting
So
it up initially.
exactly. So I had to learn.
Because now I'm listening to your story about the grandmother. What I would pick up on is, so she told you she asked you to bring some Grey Goose.
Mm-hmm.
Her response was to the grandmother, "Oh, well, he was gonna bring it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I was just telling him what I want."
Mm-hmm.
All of that is problematic for me.
Okay.
Because cause I'm a little bit more verbose when I get annoyed about things.
Right.
I've learned to be even keeled, but I'm gonna tell you what's going on. I'm gonna tell you what's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people just when you come to expect something, the appreciation
Goes down.
away. You know what I mean? So when you keep doing stuff for people, I'm one of those type of when you with me, we rocking. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You safe, you protected. We rolling out. We listen to some good music. You ain't got to worry about nothing.
Right.
But when I see that you develop a mentality of not even wanting to do anything or expect that this is how it's going to always be,
Mm-hmm.
there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Right.
No such thing as a free lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's getting to know you and they're investing their time and their money and they doing all of this stuff for you, if you never lift a finger, you can say, it's that person's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I'll tell it. Well, okay. This person, she had a great job, and so it's not like
I'm already offended.
It's not like I just did everything. So let me clear that up. So it's been times, even though I'm the dude that's going to pay for dinner, regardless, it's been times where she invite me out, and I come with my family, my cousin, with my couple of my cousins come, and we eat up, and we do how we do. We gonna eat, we gonna drink, buy a bottle of wine or whatever, stuff like that, and she pays for the whole thing, and so.
Why y'all break up?
She has done that multiple times, so it's not like it's just she just took from me. No, it was a mutual back and forth.
It was mutual usury.
It was a mutual back and forth. We took care of each other, but it was just a situation that happened that I couldn't accept.
Man, I feel.
Yeah,
I totally understand. So like I said, man, chivalry now for me. I figure, man, the best thing I can do, man, is just doing what I'm doing, man.
So do you think and Ned, you feel free to answer this question from the female side. Do you think chivalry is? Do you think chivalry? Do you think chivalry is there also because the women are extremely independent?
When we ask questions that involve everybody, when you start to do questions that isolate people, you lose the understanding that people would possibly give you. But people have trigger words that they automatically hear, that when they hear them, they tune out whatever message is coming after it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start off with women doing anything wrong, okay, you're not going to get where we need to get. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, this is one of the things that I was talking about when I said I had to go back and reword, and I said we all liars. But since I only deal with women, I have to say women be lying about stuff. For example,
I want you to be completely authentic.
I'm about to be
Let's do it.
I'm about to be completely authentic. I've said, I know I'm gonna get chewed out for this, but y'all just hear me out. When it comes to anything involving numbers, don't ask a woman. From minor stuff, like, oh, you went to Walmart today? Like, how much did you spend? Oh, I spent $100. And then you come across a receipt, they say $176. It be little stuff like that adds up to just a habit of just little white lies. And it's not necessarily that you bad, but it's like, for example, I always say that men lie about their height on their license and women lie about their weight. Right. You ain't gonna, I mean, I wouldn't ask a woman how much she weighed anyway. But let's say you did. You ain't gonna get the accurate answer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For example, if you ask a woman, I don't know why you would in this day and age, don't never ask nobody how many people they've been with. You are not ready for that conversation. Period. I don't care how cool you think y'all are. You're not ready for that conversation because we're not sexually mature to handle that type of conversation. But let's say that you were. I don't think I met a woman yet that actually told me the truth. And this was when I was younger. After a while, when you get like 30 and up, I'm like, I don't care no more. I mean, you ain't. I mean, I'm about to go. You know what I did the other day?
What?
You know how I got this shirt?
How?
I went out with a young lady and she was totally annoying, but I went through with it and we rode past a mobile HIV testing station.
Okay.
And I pulled over. Music Monk pulled right up there next to the truck.
Okay.
And I said, hey,
was that from AIDS Health? AHF?
Yeah. Say AHF on the back.
Yeah.
So when it got the test, man, it was just like boom. Now, I wasn't getting the test. I just like to just get tested. I'm not even dangerous out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I should, protection should be a tax write-off for me. Not even trying to be funny, but I'm just saying, like, I just thought that was like a cool thing, especially this day and age, man. Like sometimes you gotta mix it up. You know what I mean? But I kind of, of course, I kind of tested her a little bit to be like, hype with like, what's your reaction? You know what I'm saying? But she went through with it because actually a young lady did that to me. We were in Edgewood and there was a mobile station. And I ain't got nothing to hide, so I was like, yeah, prick my finger. Let's get this over with. Right. I was good to go. You know what I'm saying? But that's just this is the type of environment that we live in. Like you can't. There's no handbook to this anymore.
Okay.
And trying to get to know people.
Next, what's your thoughts?
I don't know what the initial.
I need you to chime in for the female perspective.
Okay. So,
I feel like you should come on.
Honestly, I got in trouble or something. So honestly, I feel like, when it comes to guys, how guys treat women and how women treat guys, like, I'm like always thrown off on the whole conversation because I never feel like I'm not like them. Like I'm not. To me, it's like, okay, so it's how you're raised, it's where you're from. Right. Some people are natural users. My sister's a natural user. So, I mean, but I'm not like that. I'm just like, I'm going to do this on my own. Like, and I've been taken care of before. And she's like, this shit's overrated. So, I don't know. I've seen both sides of the fence. Like, but personally, like for somebody to continuously buy me something, I need to see what is your angle. Do you do it sometimes to, instead of saying you're sorry? And
we all trifling. I'm so serious. I'm so serious, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but I get what you're saying. You can't even be genuine. You can't even be a genuine person without having to check for an algorithm from the other person. Like,
algorithm, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what is the angle here?
I took a young lady out to a restaurant and we had a good time. We walked in the park, you know what I'm saying? We came back, had some good food. I don't spend a lot of money on dates because I'm just a fun person. So I don't feel like I need to spend, $100 for you to eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna eat good, couple drinks and that's it. I forgot to tip the waitress, and I tip. You know what I mean? I'm a decent tipper. You're gonna get between 10 to 20% with me, depending on the bill. I asked her. I said, "Hey, if you had some cash, would you just tip her?" You know what I'm saying? I happened to sign it too quick. I don't want to go back. You would have thought I did the worst thing ever. I'm like, I cannot deal with the expectations of I gotta doggone take a bullet. I gotta jump in front of a bullet for you.
Well, I mean, with that, for you to take the meal, just for her to take the tip, it's not that serious. She should have just handled it.
But we happened to run back into each other, and I was like, all right. And sometimes you just know better. That's why I asked you about the repeat offender, because I'm learning. But my energy is one. I have energy. I'm pretty sure you have the same energy. I think we all do. People take us for granted, And when they go out there and they be all jacked up in the world, they want to come back because they know there's a pleasant place waiting for them, right?
They search the world looking for someone like you.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And not to say I'm all that because I'm nowhere near any of that. You know what I'm saying?
When you treat it right, it's just like, I should have done better.
And we ran into each other again, not to hijack your moment, you know what I mean? But we ran into each other again, and in like 2.2 seconds, she went back to, and you didn't even tip. And I was I'm looking at the phone like, are you serious? Like, I just.
That's like opening line.
Like, golly, man. I mean, not to be funny, man, but you smoked on my oregano. You know what I'm saying? I paid. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, now you mad over a tip, and the bill was like $30. Who was that? Holy Taco. Bill was like $35, which is reasonable for that place.
Right.
Yeah.
$5? You mad over $5? I'm done with y'all, man. Not y'all. Y'all my
And was that coming from a flirty place, or was she just genuinely being a jerk?
Folks don't understand that when you're in this world and you're navigating and you're trying to find someone that is on your same vibe. Once again, it ain't no handbook, and there ain't no real obligation to anything. But you should just understand what it's like to be a decent, mature person.
Right.
And I think, going back to what you were saying, some people are just users. Some people are users. Some people are givers. And unfortunately, there's no balance in between. You know what I'm saying? So most of the time, the people who live on the extremes find each other and create a whole ball of confusion in the middle. And everything else, they create experiences that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
For example, like, I don't know what to look for. At 36, I don't really know what to look for.
Yes, I said something similar to that. Yes,
I don't know what to look
and
for.
And the thing is, like, when something finally catches my attention, it's just like I zone in. But then I just try to figure out, like, why do I feel that way? But I don't know what I'm looking for either.
Okay,
so
for both of y'all,
yes, great discernment.
What would be for both of y'all? Y'all, ladies first. I want you to answer first. What is your needs, not your wants, and that dude?
Don't try to be all.
I mean, as far as that goes, like I need to know that I'm secure. I don't need to know that. I don't need dudes buying me a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to know like how you spend your time. Do you genuinely want to spend this time?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's really broad, but I mean, I just don't know. It's just because I say that because I've dealt with different type of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might be a situation where I feel like I would have never chosen you years ago, but it's just like, you know what? I'm digging you now.
See,
Maturity. I
and
don't know.
Usually what I do when I coach somebody, I ask them what's their needs and their wants, because the wants is something that, like for me, I always say that I need a smart young lady because I'm attracted to intelligence.
Yes.
I need a family-oriented person because I'm very family-oriented. Because if you're not family-oriented, then you're not going to understand the dynamics of my family or how I do things. I need a positive woman because I'm very positive. So, I can't come from somebody whose energy is very negative. We would never connect. I am very independent, so then therefore I need somebody who is kind of independent too. I don't do well with needy people.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah. And with that, everything you've described, I've had some sample of this and that. You know what? I actually met a guy and he said one time, he was like, I'm gonna build a bitch. But he was just like, there's some things.
He was talking about you?
No. He was just we weren't dating. He's my friend.
Okay.
But he was just saying I find that there's different qualities in different women that I've been around. I want some of different ones, but it's just like I've never found it in just one. And I was just like, just be patient. You got to find,
So, do you know what are deal breakers for you though?
Liars.
Okay.
Manipulators.
Who are usually liars.
Yeah, that. Yeah, totally hint. Cheaters.
Okay.
Oh, so you just got liars.
Yeah. All the liar words you got, those.
Okay.
Yeah,
so, Monk, What's your needs and not your wants in a young lady?
Yeah. We need like waiting music right now.
So my needs are communication, appreciation, because I'm dope, openness,
Okay.
courage, artsy,
Okay.
natural,
Artsy.
and positive.
Okay.
Intellect is one of those things that's obvious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't talk to you if you're not.
Gotta
So
be
that's,
firing on all your cylinders.
but those are that intellect is something that you pick up on immediately. Like communication is not. I can have a conversation with you all day, and that don't mean that we're going to get to anything that's meaningful that would, evolve our relationship. People know how to talk.
Right.
Atlanta has become one of those places, and I know y'all be like, why you keep going back to Atlanta? Well, because I'm from here, and I see more out of state tags and people complaining about the city, but it's like y'all the ones that brought it here, so that's another side story.
I just think the whole dynamic of Atlanta right now, I think to me, Atlanta is the biggest perpetration of the fraud there is.
Yeah.
You really don't get to
They
know
make
the true, authentic self of a person. And
yeah.
relationships, friendships, because you don't know who. Nobody's really been their true self.
So speaking of true, when you add up communication, appreciation, openness, and courage, that is a truthful person. Those are components of a truthful person. Because it takes courage to tell, and this is how liars are developed. Because there's a situation that comes about, and you need to tell somebody something, or like this generation is notorious for overlapping relationships. We are the absolute worst.
Okay.
When I meet a young lady, I don't even, at this point, that's why I say I don't know, because I don't even want to like you, because I already know you texting 2-3 other people.
Yeah, you ever get
I
a
already
picture and
know
you
that.
wonder how many other people did you just send that to?
Pause. Let me tell you. Can I tell you a story?
Yes.
Can I tell you a story? Let me tell you a story. I'm sorry.
All right,
man.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm
Come
gonna tell you a
on.
story. Remember how I said? Remember how I said like I'm not doing the online dating thing
Right.
anymore,
Yeah.
right? So I met this young lady online. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what time it was, but we hit it off really, really well. Okay. She lived on the other side of the country. I think she lived in like Colorado or something. We really hit it off. And I liked what I saw aesthetically. I liked the conversation that we had, and it was very, very progressive. It was like this might be a life-altering type of encounter. We talk every day. I mean, we're talking for like hours. In the first 2 days, we probably talked 36 hours.
Wow.
In 2 days, like we were like really, really just
Wow.
talking. And I was excited, and she kept telling me about this trip. Like I said, I'm a human lie detector. She kept telling me about this trip. And I said, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Have fun on your trip. It was a short trip, so I just figured it was maybe like a business. You're going to see your girlfriend or something like that. We FaceTiming and talking. She at the airport. She left the airport. I ain't hear from her no more. I said, you think I'm crazy? All you had to do was just say, all you had to do was say, hey, B, I like you. I'm feeling you. This just happened. I already had this trip planned.
Right.
We at a particular place. I hope that this does not bother you because I'm still going. But if you let me know what's up, I respect you more.
Right.
But when I call you and you don't pick up the phone, and then an hour later you send me a text that says, is everything okay? I know you feel guilty because you've been lying because you with some other dude. Now you do what you do, but now I just want you to know that you've already put yourself, I had you here, and now I got to put you back over here because a simple decision, not having the courage to just be like, hey, I like you, but I'm 30 years old and I had plans to go meet with somebody. We live on opposite sides of the country. What damage would it have done other than maybe we don't talk? But you do this, you know what I'm saying? Like this is the type of stuff that so one of my mentors told me, he said, look, it ain't about what you want. Find out what you don't want. You find out what you don't want.
Well on your way.
You halfway there.
Yes.
You 2/3 of the way there, man. So
Okay.
lies and
Yeah,
things that make
I
my
love
blood
it.
boil.
So
Yeah.
my next question is, I'm gonna go with you first. So the young ladies that you've been attracting lately, is there a common thread between them?
Yeah, the common thread is me. I'm terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Can you
I
elaborate
like
on that,
that.
please?
Yeah.
Well, when you find yourself having the same argument with different people, it ain't really on them no more.
Absolutely. As long as you said it.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yep.
on you. I was being hyperbolic when I said, that I'm terrible. I'm not terrible, but
Right.
sometimes we funnel ourselves into bad habits and we don't realize that when you create bad relationship habits or the pursuit of a relationship in a bad way,
Right.
you end up drawing people that you have no business wasting your time with anyway.
Exactly.
Sometimes just chill out, man. And so what I realized, I said, this year a lot of great things have been happening for me. I can chart every time there's a point in my life where I'm on the precipice of greatness and I enter into a relationship and have to rebuild. As you get older, the length of time that it takes to rebuild or the possibility of rebuilding becomes shorter, slimmer and slimmer. Don't waste your best years chasing people that aren't going to give you what you are requiring of yourself. But you have to know who you are to know what you're requiring. So for me, get my behind up in the morning and it's still dark, street lights on, and I'm doing 2 laps around the neighborhood. I'm doing my hour on my cardio. I'm chilling. I'm not really stressing any of that because whatever I was doing before, maybe I was trying to compensate or overcompensate, or maybe I was lonely. And you have to understand why you're doing things. Do you want somebody in your life to be a +1? Do you want somebody to be your companion? Do you want an in between? Whatever you want, is nothing wrong with that. Just don't lie to yourself.
Lie to yourself. And see, I remember I had met this young lady years ago, and she said, you're a nice guy, you're an attractive guy. Why aren't you married? And I said, because I wasn't marriage material. And she said, why are you speaking so negatively about myself? I said, I'm not speaking negatively about myself. I'm telling the truth about myself. Yeah. It's a difference. I said, I was a party guy. I liked to have a good time. I was in those streets. I was partying. I was drinking, smoking weed, all that kind of stuff. And when you was talking before the show started, it was okay for me to have 3. I dated 3 people at the same time. First, second, and show. That was my mindset. So I had 3. At one point, Nick could be first place, and she could say something to me and drop right down the show, and the other 2 rise up. And that's just how I was at that time. And I was being truthful with that, and everybody who I dealt with understood that. Because I don't play that kind of game. I'm gonna tell you, this is where I'm at. This is how I get down. If you're good with it, cool. If you're not, cool. And so now that I'm at a different place in my life, yeah.
You be telling folks stuff, cause I took that approach too. I was like, man, I'm just gonna be up front with everybody. Well, you know what I found out? When you truthful, don't let anybody else gonna be truthful. They still gonna be lying. They gonna be like, yeah, I'm cool with it, but they lying. Like nobody's cool with
They
sharing.
might feel like
nothing.
they can change you.
Nobody's cool.
After a while, they get demanding, like I'm the only one.
They could demand all they want to, but if we had the conversation and I ask you, are we cool? And you say yes, nothing changes till we have that other conversation. When you tell me, okay, I'm starting to like you more than I did before, can we make it monogamous? But you're not gonna come demand anything from me if we not had that conversation.
So when things happen, you just mentioned to her, so what changed? Because I already explained.
Right.
Okay.
And so then,
I don't want that dude either. Come on in, brother.
Okay. Well, there he go. What's going on? So good. So that's just what I'm straight to the point, and so it is what it is.
Good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing?
Good.
I have a tendency of pushing people away.
You know why? Because we all some liars.
Right. And I've
That's the theme of
experienced
the
too
show.
much.
We some liars.
I've been exposed to too much. Like
So-
I feel like if I write my life down without you seeing what I look like, you would swear I was a senior citizen. Like it's just I just been through some shit. Like
All right, Laris.
all right.
So
Yeah.
we was talking about
Yeah.
we was talking about
Should I share this too?
Tap
chivalry.
that.
Chivalry is chivalry
Tap
dead.
that mic for me.
Is chivalry there, or is it no longer a requirement? So, what's your thoughts?
Only requirement is what you make is a requirement. So I think we talk about a lot of this stuff on the show, and most of what we talk about is that everything's relative to what those two people agree on. Chivalry, for the most part, is dead, and therefore it's not required. And that's because it's a lot of people that just don't know how to do it. They don't see it. Yeah,
that's why I said.
So
that's why I said because I've had women, whether it's my female friends that I went to school with, and they was dating a dude, and they were like, so and so's, is coming over, and he always asks me, do I need anything, or can I bring something, and I don't understand why. But once again, that person didn't have that male father figure in their life, so she was never taught that, like you said.
And then the women who, here's one of the things that I've seen. We don't communicate. That's big, right? Because, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. So if it's women listening, what you gotta understand is that it's a lot of brothers who don't know. So you can't get mad and dump a brother because he didn't open your car door or the door for you. What you need to do is say, listen, my expectations of when I go out with a guy, and how you say it too is a big part of it.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen, man, I don't know what you're used to doing, but these are kind of my expectations.
Right.
I'm, looking for a guy that's open. And then then you put it on him, and if he says, well, look, I'm not doing it, then you don't. Right. You know what I mean? But we get rid of people without communicating what the problem that we have, because we expect people to already know, and we live in a society where people, they ain't seen it. We ain't got no homes no more.
Something you said, I'm going to piggyback off of because I get you. It falls back to the part where he said a lot of times people are not being truthful about what they want and how they feel. So I think sometimes a woman may want that treatment, but they don't do it in fear that the guy's going to say, I'm not going to do it. So they rather just take whatever that man's willing to give them, and not what they may need or require.
It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable.
Everything that I put on, because he asked me what I need. He asked me what I needed. Like, what does this one need?
Yeah.
And that's why I ain't talk, because I already know that I ain't crazy. You need communication, courage, openness. You know what I'm saying? Now, the vulnerability and the honesty is a result if you do those things. Mm-hmm. So what's the flip side to this coin? The flip side to this coin is that when you do open the door, you're viewed as a sucker.
That could be true.
Well, that is the flip side. So it's like, and we were saying earlier, people don't know how to respond. People don't know what it. People think when you treat them right that you're about to set them up for something. Mm-hmm. So when you're the chivalrous guy, you're opening the door and you're being respectful and you're not trying to, do things too fast. Then it's like you a sucker, you a simp, you a punk, you gay. It's nothing positive comes out of you trying to be a good guy.
Every woman's not shown the standard of what's right, quote unquote. And if there were situations where fathers would actually date their daughters, that would nip that in the bud a lot as well.
But you know what? And I agree with everything you just said. But what I tend to do, I stand firm in my truth of what I do, how I get down, and as I elevate myself, that I'm going to attract that person that's gonna roll with you, that's gonna roll me. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what you can't account for? Investment of time. Like how much time lapses when you getting to know somebody and as you elevating yourself. That's a lot of investment. Yeah. Waiting on somebody to see if somebody gonna fall off or they gonna latch on. I apologize.
No. I mean, I'm with you. I'm completely in agreement. And I'll even throw a personal story in there.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. But I'll tell you this. I mean, when I look at this whole thing, it is difficult because you do have to figure out who's going to make the cut kind of early because your time is valuable. And a lot of times the problem is that a woman can, because we live in a hypersexual kind of quasi-lesbian society right now, we have an issue where, they can get their needs met and not really feel guilty about getting them met by another woman. And what they don't understand about us is that we're not trying to wait a year and figure out if this is what you want to do. You know, we're trying to make semi quick decisions. So here's the thing. I told this young lady, I said, if I and then with respect to the game and chivalry, you got to figure out a way. It's hard, but I'm learning to kind of master my game and make my game masculine and chivalric at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, how can I give you a balance of I'm walking away, you know what I mean, if you plan, and at the same time, you know, look, I am going to walk you outside because, you know, I don't want nobody to steal you. You know what I mean? And it's, I don't know. You'll know when it's time, but I told a young lady, and I said, listen, if I take that axe to that tree outside, and I hit it 10 or 15 times, and I ain't making no progress, I'm walking away. If I hit it 10 or 15 times, and even if it's incremental progress, if I can see that I'm making progress, I'll keep going. You know, but we had to have a discussion about that, you know, and discussions are key, and you have to be, we just can't be overbearing when we have these discussions and come off too strong. We had to say, hey, I called you the other day, and I didn't hear back from you. And I said, so what I said was, I was like, you know, I brag about you to people, about how awesome you are. And I was like, and you won't call me back. I was like, I don't know what to do. You know, and so now I've tried to set the temperature as such where it's not, I'm not putting heat on you, but help me understand what to do, because I don't want to bother you if you don't want me bothering you. We had a great discussion and was able to kind of really move forward from it. But the thing is that we got to communicate so that we don't have these hang-ups, get frustrated about wasting our time.
For each person, the wellness architect, I'm pretty sure you will co-sign when you say that when you your best you're going to always attract, for the most part, what's going to be best for you. You know what I'm saying? When you're your best you. So, you know, for me, I don't want to compete with what I think you want. You know what I mean? For me, I know what my strong suits are, and my strong suits are intelligent, speak well. I'm very good with words. Right. And women they say they like a man that can communicate, but I think there's a difference between the type of women that like a man that communicate. The type of woman that I think I want to end up being being with is the woman that appreciates an artistic, intelligent, communicative guy. Not a guy who you say you want somebody that communicates, but you settle for the person that doesn't give you what you want. You know what I'm saying?
And I think a lot of times too, men and women, I think once we get to understanding what we want and what we need, a lot of times what we need might not come in the package that we might always that we imagine. And so we got to figure out, you know, do I want this package that, you know, she has everything that I need, but maybe not be the style of woman I may normally go after, or do I go after the style of woman that I usually go after, but she doesn't have the needs that meets me?
What you should do is find out how to be funny. Find out how to be funny, because if you're funny, and I might not look like I'm a funny guy, but I had you busting the gut. That's when you break down all the woman's guard and everything. You really find out what you working with. If you can make her laugh, that's pretty much that's when you talk about the package. When you see a guy who is not the stud, but he has the wife that's like a trophy wife, or what would be considered to be attractive, the first thing she's going to tell you is that he was smart and he made me laugh. So when you talk about the package, men being visual, that package we have to adjust.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Now, women have to adjust too. I think we all have to adjust, but I also think that there's just there's only but so much give and take. Okay. Now, if I'm gonna be with you, I can be in love with your mind all day long. But if your heels is crusty, that's just something I can't deal with, the crusty heels. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a human being, so I'm saying, at what point do you sacrifice what you really want, because part of society tells you you can get what you want. Go after what you want. Put the work in. You can get the girl that you want. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to settle. So where's the balance between settling and adjusting?
You have to build it. If you find the template, you're gonna have to build it. So I'd say you probably have to be willing to rub down her heels at night.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wasn't saying that I got a problem.
Oh
with
yeah,
Kristen.
I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying? I was just, no, I was trying to pick
That's
something. I was trying to pick something that, you know, like I got a homeboy of mine, and he finds the weirdest things to not like about a girl. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dude, if she did you like that, you know what I'm saying?
The boomerang hammer toe effect.
Right, you know what I'm
Okay,
saying? Yeah, it's something like that. And I'm like, bruh, like, the 80-20 rule, you have to know how to apply it. You know what I mean? Now, if you're going to marry somebody, you got to look at that person, and you have to have a very good imagination. Look at that person, and then add 75 pounds and a bunch of wrinkles and liver spots and no teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just project, you know what I'm saying? And be like, dang, like, am I really with this person because of the container or the contents of the container? And I think you'll find that the container may have attracted you, but the content sustains you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the question, the other question I pose to them is, I ask you, what are your needs in a young lady, Lyris, and not your wants?
Well, one thing I've been doing is a lot of self-examination and self-development, which is
That's the thing.
okay. Yeah. And so that has that's helped me because it's helped to evolve my wants a little bit. You know what I mean? And see things that maybe I didn't see before. And sometimes when you're on the cusp of maybe, you know, cute or slightly attractive, you get close enough on the picture and you get to know the person. You're like, you know what? This is an awesome person. You know, so I think that first off that, but my wants and my needs are kind of the same. I mean, obviously every man wants to be attracted to a woman.
I think
That's key
necessary.
for us, right?
That's
You know what I mean?
Things
but-
don't work if that ain't.
Right, but honesty obviously is the most important thing. Communication, and I say communication second. I think it's equally as important, but I think you can work on a communication, but you can't work on honesty. You know, you either are, or you aren't, and we really got one time to kind of run up on a meaningless fib. There are certain things that people just gonna hold back from you. You know what I mean? In general,
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, maybe it's something embarrassing about themselves they don't want you to know, and I think that to a degree, you would have to work with them on something like that. But when we start talking about meaningless fibs, we're gonna be like, now, you know, that didn't make no sense. So I think you got to forgive and address it and forgive, because a man's job is to kind of exude a leadership role anyway. You know what I mean? And set the tone. Yeah, but I went on a rant in Pearl the other night because one of the girls in there, and I think I was just pissed off I just had a really rough day. And by the time I got there and she said what she said about, oh, well, your buddy comes in here and he checks on me or whatever, you know, since you hadn't been coming in here or whatever. And I was like, well, you got my number. I said, why? Just call me or text me. And I just got so frustrated. I just went to a tangent, and I told everybody. I was like, hey, bro, I talked to the man next to me. I was like, now, how would you feel if every time a woman wanted to have a conversation with you, y'all were in a gratuitized situation in her favor? Does that make any sense? You know what I mean? The only time we can have a discussion is when I'm sitting in front of you and I'm about to give you money. I was like, that doesn't make me feel comfortable about getting to know anyway. I was like, damn, I said, we can't go and get a sandwich? I mean, am I tripping about this? Does this make sense to everybody else down here? And I really, because I'm tired of the lying. I'm tired of it. And by the time I got done, I felt so bad. One of the girls was teary-eyed because they was gay.
It's not me,
Yeah,
man.
I said, I am tired of it. As straight black men, we got to be honest about everything. But they lying. And I said, I'm tired of the lying. It's got to stop, man. I mean, I said, it's got to stop. And I said, I'm just.
We did not talk before we got here.
No, I said I said this lying stuff, man. I said it's not right, man. And the brother was like, no, you right. I said it's not right. So I don't know. I mean, and I don't know.
See, I know he's gonna come in. See, no holds barred.
I just haven't.
I'm a little bit more measured.
I was like, man, this, and I gotta have somebody that wants to talk on the phone. We'll text about things when we're at work and stuff, but I gotta talk on the phone. I'm a talker. If we're not talking on the phone, it's not gonna work for me. Talking on the phone or talking in person, I can't do it. We did shows about text messaging here. I don't feel comfortable with it. I've been a player in my days. You know, I can get up in the morning and be, you know what I'm saying, be laid up with one woman and text 3 other women good morning just to maintain the relationships. I ain't doing it because I know the game. Okay, right. So I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna call you in the morning. I'm gonna call you at night, and we're gonna talk. Right. You know what I mean? If we can't talk, it's no big deal. But see, I'm gonna establish this up front. So if we can't talk, then I already know what it is. I don't need no explanation. You know, I don't care if you call, oh, you insecure. I'll be whatever you want me to be, but I ain't doing it. We gotta talk.
Because it's my life, it's my experience, it's my time.
And you setting the boundaries of what you expect and what you don't expect.
Right. And I'll do it early, so that way ain't nobody gonna get upset.
I like that.
Hey.
Thank you for calling in. Pastor's calling.
This is Wanda G, the Motivational Queen.
All right.
And I'm enjoying the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I wanted to answer that question from my perspective.
Go ahead.
So ask me the question again, because I got a crying baby in the background.
Well, it's 2 questions. The first question is chivalry dead, or is it no longer a requirement?
Okay. Chivalry is not dead. I think it all depends on the individual. Like if I'm a woman that enjoys chivalry, you know, I step back, I let my man open the door. I don't have no problem for that. He pulls out the seat. He takes my coat off. That's how we show up. But I think it really depends on the individual, because a lot of women are just not into that. They move too fast. They don't want to be patient. You know, they just want to jump out there and do everything. So then that's what they end up with. So it really tells the man how to respond to the woman he's dealing with.
Wow. So do you think the independence of a woman has made an effect on chivalry?
Definitely, but not so much as her independence and education. I think it's really got to do with her, the roles that, you know, they just don't want to fulfill certain roles. And I think it's primarily to do with music and ratchet TV and just these negative influences that women have really lost their way. So when they come back to the feminine side of being a woman, then they can appreciate when a man wants to be a man, you know. But until they realize that they don't have anything to lose, it's really our blessing is how we bless our men.
I love that.
I love it. Thank you.
I was welling up.
Yeah.
I felt like thank you so much.
It's a reciprocity of blessings, and so we have to pour into one another. If we take it from a standpoint, it's really just boils down to being what it is that you want.
Right.
Being that to somebody else first. You know.
Can we make what she said into a tonic?
And you can.
Like
you can do that. You know and it's a lot to do with healing, self-healing. The brother said it earlier, you know, working on self.
Yeah.
Because until we are, and then as a community, like we have to be, instead of trying to be your brother's keeper, you got to really be your brother. You got to see your reflection in your sister, you know, in your woman, and then try to like just help each other get to that level of understanding. But until we do that, then you'll have this breakdown and this disconnect. So for attraction reasons, you just have to stay in your own lane of who you are. You can't let it go. See, I don't play games with my femininity.
Right.
You know, I back down and I show up and I show out, but I know exactly how to do that. You know, so it comes down to placement, because yes, a man loves intelligence. He also loves, you know, sexiness and well-groomed, and he loves her to be able to cook. You know, all
Absolutely.
of that stuff matters. So it's like, and you know, she got to be able to cook both in the kitchen and in the bedroom. So all of that stuff matters. And when we realize that that's our gift, and when we put this energy together, then they're unstoppable. You know, the couple can then create whatever they want to. She can be fulfilled and he could be fulfilled.
I love it. Now, how long you been married?
I'm not married.
Oh, you're not?
You need
I'm
to come
not
down for
no,
part
I'm
two.
not.
Well, we need to have you on the show next time.
Well, I love to come on.
Hey, maybe she can come on tomorrow. I've
Yeah.
got a sex therapist coming on tomorrow.
Oh, I'll be there tomorrow. Can we come tomorrow? Cause we all gonna be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow too.
Yeah.
We could do that tomorrow. Cause we always say we had the men's conversation. The women always tell me, can we have a female to come on from a perspective? And you always bring the light. So if you could come on, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna email you. So the next time, see if you are available, so we can come down, have you on the show with the guys.
Okay, no problem.
So-
Well, guys, y'all keep it going.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Keep
Appreciate
it
the call.
going, and I'm gonna keep watching and woo woo woo. You know, I love my men. I love the Black King. So just keep doing what you do, okay?
We
Thanks,
appreciate
Queen.
that.
Yeah. All right.
So I wanted to ask you a question. I know that everybody liking this right now, but I did want to ask a question. I held it for you.
Sure.
But it's not about the relationship thing.
I'll do my best to answer.
I think, you know, with the NCAA and all that kind of stuff, someone had brought to my attention their thoughts. You know, football and basketball are majority African Americans.
Right.
Their thought was that the guys, our high school athletes, star athletes, instead of trying to go to the big time Division I schools, should start going to the HBCU schools, which then will force money start coming their way.
Right.
What's your thoughts?
I mean,
Since you are Morehouse grad.
that'll help one issue, but I don't know about the other. Obviously, the revenue would then go there. But these people, you got to understand the type of people we're dealing with. They would come up with some other way to circumvent that and say that, the schools need to have this, that in place, and then all of a sudden SACs and stuff would show up at all the HBCUs finding problems with the schools to discredit them. These are a different type of people we're dealing with here. That's just my personal opinion. But if the HBCUs are not giving children, they shouldn't just be a party ground to where you figure out how to, party well and have wild sex and come out with a bunch of debt and can't get any a livable wage out here in society. I'm more concerned with what are we going to do about that? You know what I mean? What are we going to do about the lying to our people about if they go to college, they'll be better off? You know,
Right.
We're all college graduates right here.
Right.
And I know what we're going through.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And we're well-educated
That's
college
church,
graduates.
right.
So I'm more concerned with that. I do see the value in athletes going to HBCUs, but I just wonder how they would respond to that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or maybe I don't know. Even if it created an indirect benefit to where they said that they would start paying college athletes to go to D1 schools or something.
All right.
And I don't mean with tuition. You know what I mean? I mean with some form of financial compensation.
The name of the game, to answer, to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, I agree. You're absolutely right. What you started off the conversation with was the reason why it's not going to happen, and why even if it did happen, it wouldn't benefit the schools in that way. We already know that 80% of most of the players in professional and collegiate sports, when you remove baseball and hockey, if we're talking about the major ones, they're predominantly African American driven, right? If all of the black star athletes start going to HBCUs, I don't really think it's a matter of structure. It's a matter of internal structure. They definitely don't want to give black players, and they're not going to play. They're not going to pay college athletes because most of the athletes that they would be paying would be black. If we lived in a world where the white kids were the predominant and they were the entertainment and they were the main draw, these kids would be getting stipends left and right. It would be an institution where it would be deemed unfair. It would be deemed as theft, labor, like theft of labor to have these kids working out here. Because the thing of an education is your payment. That's not the truth at all. It can't be, because it's not about money. The NCAA, I mean, they make billions of dollars a year. So how can you say that? How can you say that these kids don't deserve to get any money when you're making it off of their backs? You ain't got no black coaches. You ain't hardly got no black quarterbacks. But the rest of the other people who are making the game what it is are African American. But y'all don't want to pay.
Right.
But I bet y'all want to pay those quarterbacks, though.
Oh, yeah.
I bet y'all want to pay those white quarterbacks. So it's about structure. It's about the complexion. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So, we're right on point with that. I mean, if she was on the other foot,
Right.
if they wasn't getting paid, man, they'd have nice apartments, they'd have nice vehicles that the school leases to them or loans them while you know what I mean?
It would be something so extravagant. We would be wondering, how is this sustainable?
Well catered meals,
Right,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I'm directing something to you. Well, this like with Wanda's call, it's been like the second straight week where it's been like confirmation that where the Wellness Architect show, being the conversation show, where we're going is in the right direction because it's taking an effect on people in a different type of way. I received several texts, DMs off of last week's show.
It's a very powerful show.
Very powerful. And a question, somebody want me to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
The question is, Laris, do you ever see yourself becoming a preacher?
I have gotten that so much lately. Okay, we did a show here earlier today, and this is what I'll say. You know, I'm at God's service. What I can say is to that person, if they have an event that they want me to come speak at, I'll come speak at it.
Okay. Because the responses I was getting via text or phone calls or DMs from last week's show was very open. It was overwhelming. I was grateful for what they said. They said that it was very, like you said, spirit driven. They said they could feel it in all of us that day, but they was like, okay, your boy was preaching.
If I did, I didn't know. Yeah.
They said they said in a great way. They said in a great way. They loved it. It's like, you know, and they said so. A couple of them, they watched you, so they watched me on my show and what you've been on there, and they also watched me on your show. Cool. So it's like they have this love-hate relationship with you.
Sure.
because
I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, but then too, I guess it's like, yeah, but then that part probably drive me crazy. But then the other side is they can see this real spiritual side of you that draws them to you as well. So yeah, it's like, okay, now they see why I asked you to come on, because you know they said because you're so super passionate and you know boisterous, and then I'm the coach. Yeah. So it says it's a good balance to act.
Sure.
And so even though when she said when you could coach him and coach everybody else, and then he could come and get y'all all almost in tears, and I'm like, yeah. So that's what, you know. I want to tell you that in your face that, you know, people
enjoy the show
very much so.
Well, it was when we sat down and music. I don't know if you saw the show, but when we sat down, the testimonies that they gave the two individuals right here was so powerful that I looked up, and Yannette, you were here, and I said, do you want to go first or do you want me to go? He said, go ahead. And I said, wow. I said, this is going to be a good show. And I knew it instantly because I know what I felt. It was, you know what I mean? It was very powerful. You know, preacher has such a negative connotation attached to it.
It does.
And I actually go after the preachers the most.
I did.
What I mean?
And what I did say on your behalf is I said, can I see him as such? Absolutely. But I say that beer and conversation is your ministry.
Yeah. Well, me and my father just had this discussion. So, I mean, when my thing is that I come to serve.
Mm-hmm.
I don't come. So my boy said, be careful when you put your hands on a man of God, when you put your mouth on a man of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, that would be every man because every man is a man of God.
Absolutely.
You understand? And so we've got to get out of this mindset that this person is here.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the problem as I see it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? His job is to serve everybody.
Right.
You know, because that's actually what walking in the
And see, I think a lot of times, you know, all of us, you know, we very spirit-driven men, and a lot of times people look at us, and that's the first thing they want to throw us into the ministry. And I put that in my chapter of the book for 20 Beautiful Men, that, you know, the grandmother of a friend of mine, she said it to me. She said, you know, you have really matured. I can see you in the ministry, and that just like threw me into a panic because I was like you.
That's the only noble position that we see in our society as a people.
Right.
And it's been twisted, tangled, manipulated, and there have been people who have been hurt by it, and they're broken, and they still haven't recovered from some of the things that these individuals have done. I know about it, and I take big issue with it, and that's why I speak against it as often as I can. Not just the church, and I don't mean I mean the building of the church, not the church as described in the Bible, which is the body of believers, right? And so Jesus was actually not a pulpit preacher; he was a missionary.
Right.
You know, he was boots on the ground. And I think that if we're going to go after a model of representing God, we need to do it in that manner. I mean, period, point blank. But to the listener, I'll go anywhere and talk about God anytime, anything they want to talk about. We want to talk about the children. We want to talk about what's going on in the community. You know, everything that we talk about, when we start talking about service, God is already in it. You know what I mean? Anyway, you know, it's more implied in action and not so much with words. So, to their point, I appreciate the kudos with regard to the comment, and I will back up what I say here and come out in the streets and do it if anybody wants me to do it.
I like it. I know, right? So we go. You know, I want you to close it out, sir.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me out, man. I miss you guys. I've been on a bit of a slight hiatus, you know,
Sabbatical.
A little bit of a sabbatical, but my heart is always here. You know,
Yeah.
I'm always thinking of you guys and giving you guys shout outs. Hey, man, Chivalry ain't dead. It's on life support, but I feel like the brothers in this room, man, we are definitely sustaining that ever faint heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Of Chivalry. But once again, thank you. Good to see y'all.
Yes, sir.
Likewise.
I am Music Monk ATL. You can catch me at Music Monk ATL on IG, Music and Motorcycles ATL on IG, powered by Music Monk ATL, and my forthcoming show, Music in the Truck with Music Monk. Episode 1, part 1 will debut this Friday, man. Be on the lookout for it.
It's gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Music Monk ATL. All right.
All right, Laris Hodges, Laris Hodges, Facebook. You can see me here at Instinct Radio tomorrow from 6 to 8. Yeah, I kind of got a hodgepodge of things we're going to throw together tomorrow. I do have a sex therapist that's coming in. It's not something we can talk about.
I'm coming back right on time.
Just lust and any of that stuff. But we got a few different characters that want to come in tomorrow, and I really think we'll have a good show. A lot of important and powerful information will be disseminated, and so thanks again. I'm always honored to share a platform with you gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
So tomorrow I will be making my guest appearance back on the Beer and Conversation. I had a 2-week hiatus, but I will be back tomorrow to support my boy. Once again, I will be doing the Soul Summit here in Atlanta on June 14th and the 15th, or 15th and 16th, and we're gonna have some of the authors from 20 beautiful women or 20 beautiful men on my show during that time as well. And lastly but not least, mark your calendar, April 16th, Monday, April 16th from 7 to 9 on the Wellness Architect Show. I will be interviewing Stick from the greatest group, one of the great groups of Dead Prayers. He will be on the show. Those who don't know, he's very into the holistic living, veganism, meditation, yoga, running. So we're going to talk about that and how he's using his platform to create, show hip hop and making men create a healthier lifestyle, mind, body, and spirit. So with that being said, this has been the Wellness Architect Show with your boy Kevin Thornton. Be great, be you, be authentic, and we are out. Peace.
The biggest station
Thank you,
in the
sir.
world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.